on both sides ramps up. Joining me now is Uncle Richard, live from the Northern Territory, to tell us why he is voting no. Now, you've said you want us to call you Uncle Richard, and we will call you Uncle Richard. Tell me why you are personally not for this referendum.
Morning, Rita. And personally, there's no guts, there's no information. And so I've said all along, I said, no, I'm not going to vote for it until I know the full story. But the lead up to that, then the family from here, remote communities, called me up and said, can you come across and just give us some information on the voice and what's happening, because we're not getting that information from our territory members and people. So that's what I'm doing here, Rita.
Is the voice a major topic of discussion where you are? Are people engaged in this debate and passionately for or against? What's the mood up there?
Not really, eh? It's over their horizon somewhere. They don't know. They don't have a clue about the voice and what the voice is about and what the debate is about and what the Constitution is about. So, people are just not interested, and because they don't know what it is.
And Uncle Richard, thank you so much for taking the time to explain to us this issue from your perspective. Tell me from, where I sit, the Prime Minister keeps saying, go out, learn more about this proposal, learn about the voice, learn about what it's going to be, but he doesn't actually tell us what it's going to be. So there's nothing that you're allowed to research. And it seems to me that when you've got well over 200 Indigenous tribes in Australia, trying to break that down to 24 representatives, as some people talk about, that seems like an awful lot of people and an awful lot of communities will potentially not have a voice and wind up missing out. Am I right?
Yeah, correct. When you've got 35 districts, that's what they're sort of flagging. That's going to be representative for 250 languages across this country. And you can't, it never will happen, Like, as we know, all language tribes, I can't speak up for Wildberry, the other language groups, nothing, no. So they're saying we're totally left out. And we still have a lot of questions that need to be answered before we make a decision.
Uncle Richard, we've been told that if the country wakes up on October 15 and we've voted no, that will send a message to the entire world that we don't care about Indigenous people in this country. As an Indigenous man and community leader, do you think that's true?
Look, it's democracy is about having, open and honest discussion, debates, and between yes and no's, and laying everything out on the table, and then so people got a better picture of what's in the sandwich and to go forward. But, when the people that want to vote no or no campaigners are shut down, and when we're trying to ask questions, and we're wondering why. Why is there millions of dollars poured in by mining companies and the governments on the Yes campaign, and so on, and so it's confusing, and we do have questions. What's the purpose behind it all?
Well, Anthony Albanese has claimed repeatedly that the overwhelming majority of Indigenous people in this country are for the voice. He's using some fairly dodgy data, if you ask me. It's a very small survey of that doesn't seem to be representative at all. We keep hearing from people in the communities. I spoke to Patrick Carline, a Herald Sun journalist who's just been travelling through North Queensland communities. And he says it is just not an issue, that the issues there are so pressing and they've got far bigger things that are occupying their time than constitutional change. And you're giving that message as well. Why is there this divide between what we're being told by the activist class and then what we're hearing from the communities, particularly in Queensland, Northern Territory, remote communities?
I don't know why there is, because my discussion with people in Alice Springs and from Tennant Creek, a lot of families there, and even across the Wallaby, which is on the western side of from us, are saying we haven't a clue what the voice is about, and like I said earlier, that we have the representatives in the Northern Territory government, and we are part of their constituents. They should be coming out and explaining everything to us, but somehow we're out of sight, out of mind, and we seem to be sort of listening to these elites like the Mayo and those other people pushing the agenda. And what we're saying, we haven't a clue who these people are, even the Reid girl, and who are they, and why they're pushing the militant side of things. We don't want that. We want to come together in a way that we can discuss things openly and find a solution forward together, not just one-sided.
And finally, Uncle Richard, do you hear this thing saying, they keep saying, this is all about listening to communities, Indigenous communities, what they want. There's no law that's stopping them from listening to you now. If the government were to listen to you now, with or without a voice, what would you want to tell the government that you need, that your community need, that your people need?
Well, look, it's we've been struggling for so many years, and why hasn't the governments and the voices and the elites listened to our voices over the last 30 years? And bringing on the voice, which is they flagging it as the key that's going to solve all our issues. It's not. Even now, we've done discussions. The government or somebody should be able to ring up and say, Richard, okay, we're coming out. We want to talk to you guys and look at where we can go from here. There's nothing like that's happening. It's just pushing their own agenda, and that's what I said. Why bribe sporting groups, sporting organisations to vote yes? Why aren't you listening to people like us and the other guy, Mundine? I mean, he spoke up well. The boxer guy. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Anthony Mundine came out, which surprised a few people. I didn't realise him and Warren Mundine are also cousins. Uncle Richard, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate getting your insight.